Classic!
Partick Thistle have been outstanding in the playoffs. 4 games played, 16 goals scored.
Wallace again finds McMillan, big chance, goal!
The Firhill faithful now more expectant than hopeful.
Oh, it's another wonderful ball!
Chris Doolan's side are absolutely on fire. But tonight should be a step up in class.
Trophy will let fly!
Premiership Ross County are 2 games away from survival, or 2 games away from Championship football next season. Scottish football simply doesn't get more intense than this. It's the Premiership playoff final, first leg. A very good evening. Just the highlights for us tonight, but always a highlight to be in the company of Leanne Crichton and Richard Foster. Reaction and analysis to follow, but let's get straight to the action at Firhill. Commentary comes from Rory Loy and Alistair Lamont.
So much at stake with Ross County's Premiership status on the line, and Partick Thistle determined to prize it from them. Nothing will be decided this evening, but one of these pair could take a major step towards securing a top-flight place. Chris Doolan's winning formula is not to be tinkered with, so it's the same team for the 4th successive game. Stuart Bannigan, injured in the first leg of the quarter-final, is back on the bench, as is Cammy Smith. County's playoff fate was sealed by a poor performance in the defeat at Kilmarnock. The good news for Malky Mackay is that Jordan White is able to start, but Alex Jacobiti misses out. It's 4 changes from the weekend in all, with Dylan Smith, Awura Edwards, Jordan Tilson and Victor Laturi coming into the side. And pre-kick-off there's going to be a minute's applause in memory of former Jag Hugh Strachan, part of the 1971 League Cup winning side, who passed away just last week. Kevin Holt infield to Kyle Turner. And on to McMillan. Stevie Lawless now up against, and Dylan Smith steps away from him, opening up for Lawless, goes for goal, pushed away by Laidlaw. The first test for the Ross County keeper, and he was up to the task.
He was indeed. It's really good play, built from one side to the other. Lawless cuts inside, he wants to get it on his left foot, the defender can't do enough.
Lawless out to Fitzpatrick, quickly closed down by Laturi, but he's away from 2 players, and it's the opening goal for Partick Thistle, and it's Ethan Fitzpatrick who grabs it. Tremendous individual effort from Fitzpatrick, and Thistle score again.
Well, Brian Graham spoke about Fitzpatrick before. He said he could play at any level. That initial piece of skill was absolutely outstanding, and the finish to match as well. Lawless picks it up, decides to switch the play this time, and look at this bit of skill here. Wonderful play, wipes 2 players out the game, lifts his head, awareness, slight nick off the defender possibly. Great finish. Partick looks so potent in attack.
Fitzpatrick got a touch there. Was he taken out by Smith? And it's a yellow card for the teenage defender. And it's just the speed off the mark from Fitzpatrick that catches him out. David Monroe looks to be getting the signal from Andrew Dallas in the VAR room that there's a check ongoing, and I wonder if it's for a possible red. Well, essentially, I mean, it's got to be, is he denying him an obvious goal-scoring opportunity?
He's not timed it particularly well. Fitzpatrick's clearly got there first. He's going to be running onto it, and if he doesn't, Tiffany is. And it looks like it may be overturned and be red.
The rescinding of the yellow and the red card shown to Dylan Smith with little over 50 minutes on the clock. It's a tough lesson for the 16-year-old. McMillan leaves it to Lawless. Gets the break of the ball, slips in. McMillan is such a dangerous partnership. almost comes for Fitzpatrick at the back post, and County will get the free kick.
Great understanding. He was going to cut it back to Tiffany. He decides to try and drive it. The deflection's there. Brian Graham sniffing around the back post. Doesn't quite come off.
There's Baldwin out to Danda. Swings in, it's a dangerous one. Watson at the back post. Comes to Edwards. Still he has it. Can't make anything of it. That was a big chance for Ross County.
Yeah, it was. Jan Danda's deliveries into the box have been nothing short of sensational. Look at that. Picks out. Watching at the back post. It's a decent header down.
Here's Lawless. Looking for Graham. Randall in the way. Thistle corner.
This is a big moment in the game.
It's taken short. Turner sends it in. There's Graham! It's a wonderful finish from Brian Graham. Who else? On the stroke of half-time to double Thistle's lead. And what a huge goal that could be.
And what a time to score it. I said seconds before, it was a big moment in the game with that corner. I can't wait to get another look at the finish. He went close with something similar not so long ago. The corner's well worked. Gets far too much room though, Turner. And wow, what a finish. In a pressure game, side foot controlled into the corner. That is a goal from someone with a wealth of experience. And something he's done many times before. Look at that. Great angle. Fantastic finish. And you have to say, nothing less than Partick Thistle deserve.
Tiffany's flick doesn't come off. Ross County will just be begging for half-time. They could be in more bother here. It's McMillan for Graham. Can he find room for the shots?
Ross County here are doing all Partick Thistle's hard work for them.
And as balls into the box have caused problems at times for Partick Thistle. What can he produce here? It's Watson. It just wouldn't sit for Baldwin. And Partick Thistle survive a bit of a scare. And forward they come on the counter. Lawless was taken out of play, but Fitzpatrick continues and finds Tiffany. Held up, does get the ball into the box, not too many options. Oh, it's taken off the toe of Graham by Turner. Still alive, here's Lawless. Away from Laturi. And Tiffany just over from Holt. And Holt knows VAR's in operation and wants the officials to have a look.
Well, for a left back, he finds himself in those positions so often, Kevin Holt. Stephen Lawless with the classic chop there, does Laturi, gets inside. I mean, this should never happen from a County point of view. But on his left foot as well, his strong left foot, he should do better, Kevin Holt. He'll be disappointed. You don't often say that about defenders in these positions, but he's capable.
Edwards steals it from Fitzpatrick. Motors forward. Back goes Turner. Edwards has done well though. And White just can't turn it home. And that's a really good Ross County counter.
Where Edwards does so well. Jordan White's trying to flick that with his heel into the net.
Lovely dummy, gets it back from Graham. The 1-2 again, it's Brian Graham, this would be brilliant. Oh, it's so unlucky. What a goal that would have been. And it's a huge challenge by Conor Randall to divert it over.
My goodness, that was flashbacks to Dwight and Cole in Barcelona. That is unbelievably good play from Partick Thistle. Brian Graham, Scott Tiffany on the same wavelength. And what a goal it would have been if it hit the back of the net. Shifts the ball to the side, but Randall just manages to get the block in and go over the bar.
So many potent threats as Lawless finds Tiffany. Again it's Randall to make the block. Now Fitzpatrick flashes it across goal, and Laidlaw somehow keeps it out. The third Thistle goal looks like an inevitability at this stage.
I mean, Lawless does really well. It's poor defending, you have to say again. And from Laturi diving in, Randall does everything he can. But once again, Partick Thistle on the second ball, recycle it out the other side. This is an unbelievably good ball. And credit to Laidlaw, does have an outstretched arm, makes himself big. Might even have come off Chanchola's shoulder.
There's Baldwin, chance to put the ball in the box. Brian Graham back there doing the defending. Oh, it's going to come for White, and that is a fabulous challenge from Muirhead. That looked destined for the back of the net.
He's getting the acclaim from his teammates, and rightly so. Brian Graham's header finds Laturi in the edge of the box, clips it back in. Poor touch from Edwards, as we can see here, and White swings his right foot at it. Aaron Muirhead does really well.
Both teams look pretty content with what they've got. Thistle might be able to create one more opportunity. Oh, wonderful save from Ross Laidlaw to deny Mullen the blistering strike, and it looked destined for the back of the net, but for the glove from Laidlaw in the dying seconds to deny Danny Mullen could yet be the difference between Ross County's survival and the relegation. It's moving, and he does brilliantly to direct it onto the bar. Ultimately, Ross County limit the damage to the 2 goals that were scored in the first half. Aidan Fitzpatrick for Chris Doolan's side, opening the scoring early on. The red card shown to Dylan Smith after just 15 minutes before Brian Graham notched his obligatory goal in the stroke of half-time, but Thistle unable to add to that in the second half. Not for the want of trying, but Malky Mackay's side still in the tie, going up to Dingwall on Sunday. It is still all to play for at Firhill. It finished in the first leg of the playoff final. Partick Thistle 2, Ross County 0.
Yeah, Partick Thistle grasping the Thistle in Glasgow. Ross County feeling the pain. Leanne, we saw Partick Thistle have fantastic form in the last 4 matches, 16 goals scored, and tonight obviously get the victory. Do you feel that they hit the levels that we've seen in the last 4 matches before tonight?
Yeah, I think they've been really consistent, and they managed to carry that on tonight. I thought going into tonight that would have been the question: could they match it against a Premiership outfit? Would there be a difference in the strategy and how they looked to go about the game? And it was very similar. Ruthless, great start in the game, really aggressive, numbers middle to front going forward, a real attacking style that we've witnessed. You mentioned the goal, 16, it's now 18 after tonight, 8 different scorers. It's been incredible form, but there looks to be just such a real air of confidence about the group, and I think they matched that tonight. Absolutely.
As for Ross County, it was always going to be a fascinating matchup, Richard, and obviously the sending off, which we'll get to, changes things slightly. Obviously, it was a disappointing performance from Ross County against Kilmarnock in the last match. How would you assess the Ross County performance tonight?
Very similar to their last match. Really poor. Disappointed with their intensity. And now I know, as you spoke about there, they go down to 10 men, which changes things. But I think even with 10 men, they can have more about them. We'll see, and when we watch the clips, that they've always got enough players around about the ball, but no one's actually doing anything. They seem to have this way of defending where they mark space. They don't actually mark the man. They don't close down the ball. They don't stop crosses. They had a few decent blocks, in fairness to them, from shots. But I thought they looked tired to me. Now I know then they go down to 10 men and it makes it really, really difficult for them because Thistle have been so good and they've got so much pace. But I expected a lot more from County because they've now only got 1 game to save their Premiership status.
I think we've all enjoyed, from a pure footballing sense, the Partick Thistle play in recent games, Leanne. And tonight, flashes of that. Aidan Fitzpatrick's really come to the fore and hugely impressive in the way he took his goal.
He's been brilliant, yeah, he's been so good. And the irony is that I think he came in to replace Bannigan, who then returned tonight to the bench certainly and does eventually come on later in the game. But he's been a real threat. He's got different attributes as well in terms of his pace and his technical abilities. A direct player, as you'll see here, brilliant footwork, top class finish to round it off as well, because he makes it look a lot easier than it probably is. But he just draws players in. He uses the width of the pitch really well, and Partick Thistle do. They draw the press. They force Ross County to come over, and as Richard mentioned, tactically they were probably a bit tired looking at times with the way that they shaped up, but it's all down to Partick Thistle. I don't think any of these goals and opportunities really happen by chance. It's stuff that's clearly been worked on, because it's repetition, and we've seen that in the game, certainly in the playoffs, but throughout the championship season as well. They're a really good side and they continue to keep putting it together, and Fitzpatrick, he's been a huge reason for that, certainly in the playoffs.
About County there. He must stop him getting into the box and scoring. He's got a hold of his shirt, and I don't know whether it's because he's been sent off 3 times recently, but he's got to stop him getting into the box there. You're fighting for your lives, you're fighting for your Premiership survival. Just grab hold of his shirt and pull him to the ground, take the booking, and hopefully they don't score from the free kick. But it's so weak defensively from County that, I mean, it's great play from Fitzpatrick, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic skill, but you must stop him getting into the box there.
A lot of talk, Richard, as well about how to stop Brian Graham, and Queen's Park couldn't do it. Lee Bullen spoke about it, Ayr United couldn't do it, and, well, tonight Ross County couldn't do it.
For a start, don't give Kyle Turner that space to cross the ball in. He's got fantastic quality, as we've seen on a number of occasions here. 2 players out, no one goes to the ball. Secondly, don't have someone so small marking Brian Graham. He's the most potent attacker in that box. They've actually, you know, you've seen it to start there. I think there's 5 County players, and there's 2 Thistle players. But Brian's aggressive. He wants to go and meet the ball. He wants to go and attack the ball, and it's a fantastic finish. But if you look at the defending, I think he actually turns away. Randall actually turns his head away from it. You know, it's as if he's afraid to get kicked in the face. Again, I go back to, you know, you're going to get relegated if you don't improve. You just need to put your head in there, head the ball away, and if Brian kicks you in the face, he kicks you in the face. But they seem unwilling to put their body on the line for their manager, for their fans, and that's why they've conceded 2 goals. And they were very, very fortunate that it was only 2 goals.
And what a leader to have on the pitch for Partick Thistle, Leanne, leading from the front as usual, as we've seen almost every single Friday night as well.
Brilliant, yeah, and I think that makes a huge difference to have that focal point and somebody that links the game as well as Brian Graham does. I think is huge, and he's not afraid to tell people when things are not going to plan. But across the pitch, I think for Partick Thistle, they've got real leaders. They've shown those qualities throughout. They're organised throughout as well, and a lot of that is down to, I think, the way that they've trained in recent weeks, the way that they've planned and prepared for this run of games. But it takes every single player, especially at this stage of the season. I think Richard mentioned it, that tiredness in terms of the teams. Partick Thistle just now don't look like a side that are tired. No, and their manager, Chris Doolan, enjoying life at the moment. Let's hear from him.
I mean, if you'd offered us 2-0 before the game, we would have taken your hand off for it. Any kind of lead you take into the second leg of any playoff game is valuable. But, you know, it won't change our approach. It won't change the way we go about the game up in Dingwall. We went in every playoff game with the same mentality that we play to win, we want to win. We're not a team who will sit back, absorb pressure, try and hit in the counter-attack. We're a team who will set up to go and be in the front foot from the minute we kick off. That won't change in Dingwall. We'll take a big crowd again with us, as we always do, and everybody will go up there confident but not overconfident. You know, we know that there's still 90 minutes that we have to get through. We know it's going to be a really tough game in Dingwall, but to us, you know, any kind of lead you can take up there is valuable.
Yes, listen, obviously we came out the blocks, young Aidan Fitzpatrick. I think he's a huge talent, the young man. You're now seeing the benefits of him. Now he's getting a good run in the team. I see it day in, day out, and I'm just absolutely delighted for the young kid to go and get a goal in a huge game like this. So now it's about recovery. Recovery starts now. It's a quick turnaround. Come Sunday, we'll be ready to go. Listen, I know a couple of the guys in the Ross County squad. Ross County were a big part of my life, so I know what they're all about. They've got good guys. Their assistant manager, Don Cowie's one of the best guys you're going to meet in football. So we knew it would be a difficult tie. We knew they would come here with a game plan. Listen, the sender off maybe changes the game a little bit. So we come Sunday, it'll be different again.
Let's talk about the sending off. Obviously a huge moment in the match. VAR, of course, with us in terms of the Premiership playoff final. And well, no question about the decision here, Leah.
No, no question. When we've seen it in first viewing, it certainly looked debatable when the yellow card came out. And then having VAR, you know, it's going to be something that's looked at again. But what I would need to say in the build-up to it is a common theme throughout Ross County's performance, and it's so reactive. Everything that we've seen thus far, the 2 goals that they've conceded, the problems that Partick Thistle caused for them. Yes, a lot of it's down to the way that Partick Thistle played, and I mentioned the aggressive nature and the way that they press and the numbers that they throw forward. And I'm sure if Dylan Smith was to see this back again and have a second bite at it, he would probably make a different type of decision. But it just comes from that reactive ball watching as a defensive backline. They don't adjust, they don't get good distances between, and as the ball breaks, he's left with that almost last-minute decision to make. But there was no doubt, absolutely, it's a red card.
It seems incredible, Richard, that, you know, such a huge match with such intensity. As a 16-year-old defender, and it could be such a huge moment in this tie.
Yeah, I mean, he's played in the games before and done really well.
Yeah.
Played against Celtic, I believe, and it was very good.
That's true.
But you've got Keith Watson on the bench. And, you know, in these games, I almost think it's unfair on a 16-year-old to put him into this pressure cooker. You know, he's obviously made a mistake there, but I think he can be helped out by his defenders. I think Harmon is a wing-back. Now, as soon as Smith runs towards the ball, Harmon has got to sprint to get back in to cover him. Now, he might never get there, but if he's close enough, the referee might stick with his yellow card, because he could argue that he's on the cover, especially if he's running at full pelt, because he can obviously cover a lot of distance. But he doesn't even move. He doesn't react. So it's Leanne's right. It's reactive from all of the defenders, and then Harmon doesn't react, and that, you know, hangs young Dylan Smith out to dry, and he gets a red card. But, you know, hopefully he's not too upset, because he's 16. He's playing in the Premiership. He's got a huge future ahead of him. But you hope this doesn't dent his confidence too much.
Yeah, disappointing night for him, disappointing night for Ross County. Let's hear from their manager, Malky Mackay.
We had a good bit of possession, had a couple of half chances round about their goals. Lost a poor goal as far as we were concerned, the 2v1. Didn't defend that well at all. Great finish for the lad, but not taking anything away from that. And then we lose the sending off. We lose Dylan to the sending off. He's a great kid. He's done so well for me this year, and he probably just mistimed it. And it was probably just, you know, in retrospect, it was a sending off. So it's a mountain to climb after that.
Even at 10 men, at times we looked dangerous. I believe if we had 11 men, we would have scored tonight, and we had a couple of kind of half chances that didn't fault us or didn't go our way. But listen, it's half time in the tie. I think we take our medicine tonight and we move on, and we've got to try and put it right on Sunday.
I guess, you know, your job now is a lot of it is to kind of pick the players up and make sure that the mindset is right. Is that the most crucial thing you're going to have to do over the next few days?
It's absolutely the case in terms of what you're saying there, but it's done and dusted in the last 15 minutes. We've had that chat just now. Everything from going in there just now and for us going up to recover tomorrow is the mindset of we're 2-0 down at half time, and we came into the game, and as I say, I thought we started well, but you know, we'll have 11 men in the pitch, and we'll be focused and ready for it.
Yeah, the second leg is on Sunday. Richard, clearly so much to be critical of tonight in terms of the Ross County performance, but to their credit, down to 10 men, everybody put their bodies on the line. Yeah, I think there was a change, especially second half. They didn't offer much in terms of going forward, but you see here, Keith Watson gives the ball away, but this is the kind of thing that why you have him on the pitch from the start of the game for me. Loves defending, loves getting tight to players, loves blocking the ball, tackling. You know, here again, fantastic play from Tiffany and Brian Graham, but I think it's Randall this time. And Brian just takes a little bit too long. Another fantastic block, and that's what it's going to take. And then you see Jordan White doing the interview there, and he's got a huge gash in his head. That's what it's going to take. It's not going to take guys turning their head away from the ball because they don't want to be kicked in the face. Yeah. They need to put their body on the line. It's going to be tough for them, but 2-0 is that horrible scoreline, isn't it, where you kind of almost think you're safe, but if County score first, then it's all to play for. It was a horrible gash that he got in his head against Kilmarnock. Played, obviously, tonight. Ross Laidlaw deserves mention as well, Leanne, because sometimes the fine margins, well, they're the margins that count. Absolutely, and I think that's what you're alluding to with regards to a 2-0 scoreline as well. You would always say, I think, in any dressing room that the next goal is vitally important at 2-0, and it's really important that you get it. And this could quite be, you know, a turning point. Yeah. A couple of saves that he makes in the second half. Really instinctive, but his body positioning here is good. He reads the flight and the delivery of the ball.
and Brian Graham will be scratching his head as to how he didn't grab a second, but it was a point-blank range save, and he does really, really well. And that theme kind of continued throughout the half as well, as Partick Thistle looked to try and get that all-important third goal where it could be, because you know, Richard, as well, as soon as you get that goal, whether you score the third goal or you get back in the game at 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Huge credit to Ross Laidlaw, and the only positive for me that County can take out the game is that it's only 2-0.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe being a little bit critical there, saying he could catch it, but you probably should just not hit onto the bar. But anyway, yeah, Leanne's 100% right. That if County score the next goal, it's all to play for, and then you see how Thistle react, because all through these playoffs, they've been so good, they've never really had to face any kind of adversity.
Yeah.
So, conceding the goal is not a huge, not a massive form of adversity, but it's the first time that they could maybe wobble against a Premiership side, and you don't know how they react. If Thistle get the first goal, then I think it's curtains for County.
It should be said, Leanne, I mean, Ross County, they have won big previously this season, despite it being a pretty disappointing season. 3-0 against Kilmarnock and Dingwall back in January, 4-0 against Dundee United in February. So there is some hope. There'll be a big, vociferous home crowd on Sunday as well, you'd imagine.
There will be, and Malky Mackay mentioned it, it's literally half-time in the tie. At no game at 2-0 down at half-time would you be saying the game was over.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of confidence to take. You'll look back in performances like that you've mentioned, goals that they've scored, performances they've managed to do really well. But ultimately, the defensive performance that they've produced tonight is perhaps the reason why they're in the position that they're in. So there's a lot of that still has to be addressed. It's a quick turnaround. There's not many rooms for margin, as Richard said. They could go on and certainly do that, but it's going to be tough.
They have triumphed over adversity already in a way. They've beaten 6-1 by Hearts. They were 4 points adrift at the bottom, managed to claw themselves out into the second bottom place. But I'm guessing, Richard, and you are completely impartial because you played for both clubs, of course. You are backing Partick Thistle because it seems that they score in every match they play.
Yeah, and I'm still good friends with more players at Thistle.
Oh, so you are slightly biased.
So I would say I'm slightly biased, but no, I think it's set up for a fantastic game on Sunday, isn't it? It's one of those games where, yeah, I still want Thistle to win, I'm afraid, but
we thought of it being impartial, and then he changed his mind.
And we should leave it there, probably. Leanne, Richard, thank you very much indeed, as always. A huge weekend of football on the way, of course. The Scottish Cup final on Saturday. BBC One Scotland on air at 5